Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs.
Here we are.
Jim.
Here we are.
What are you doing, my friend?
I tell you what, I've got a hidden talent. And
oh, jeez. Another talent?
I've got a hidden talent.
Should we keep this hidden or no?
Well, you could. It might be too much information.
oh,
but I just tell you what, I'm going to rent myself out when people are going to have lawn parties at their house.
Yeah.
And they need to find the dog poop.
Uh-huh.
I'll find it.
Really?
Yeah.
You're good at that.
Really good. I'm really good if you put me in there barefoot without
really?
sandals.
Oh, fantastic.
I can find. You could send me to the freaking tundra.
You'll find it?
Find it.
Oh,
yep.
wow.
Might be frostbitten in the toes, but I'd find it.
Well, you know my theory, or what I do.
What?
If I step in dog crap,
what?
Throw the shoes out.
Really?
Yeah, I throw my shoes out. It's
so
disgusting.
What size you?
10.
Oh shit, I'm 11 and a half.
Oh well, sorry.
Because you could have called me. I'll take it.
You take my shoe?
Oh, hell yeah.
It's already got poop on it.
It's like
right?
good. So you wash it off. It's like Goodwill. Salvation Army.
All right. Well, it's great to be back.
Here we go.
Talking to everybody today.
Yeah. We got a special guest.
We do have a special guest.
I love his picture, man.
I know his picture's great. You guys got to take a look at it.
We're going to talk about
on YouTube
this a little
for
bit
sure. So the gentleman we have with us today is David Crow. He is the VP of the Benjamin Franklin in Arlington, Texas.
Yep.
Hello, sir.
How you doing, guys?
We're doing good. It's been a little hot down there, huh?
It is very hot down here.
Yeah.
It's not for your average bear.
No, I've been watching it on TV.
Heat. Yeah, if you're not acclimated to this kind of heat, it's tough.
Yeah, and it's 68 degrees up here today. So there you go.
Oh, thank you.
He would take that.
You know what? I would rather switch places with you. So I love the heat. So yeah, I'm in the wrong part of the country.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
First of all, before we start the show, I
Yes.
got to know what size bass was that? That looks like is that like an 8.5, 10-pound bass?
12 and a half.
12 and a half. Damn.
Man, that was a good fight.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've obviously I do quite a bit of fishing. I tournament fish and
Yeah.
4 double-digit fish. Before I caught that 12 and a half, I caught a 10-pounder a couple hours before it.
Oh, wow.
It literally fought like you can imagine. It was a lifetime. It was once in a lifetime experience.
Oh my God, dude.
So how did you have the strength to do it again,
Jeez.
except with something even bigger? Did this one come in easier?
No, so this is the biggest one, biggest one I've ever caught. And actually, the 10 fought harder.
Really?
Yeah.
This 12 is retired. It's a retired bass, so it doesn't have the
I
gumption.
think I realized it was hooked until it got closer to the boat, and then the fight was on. So the beginning of the fight, it was literally like just a bunch of dead weight. I thought I actually snagged something, and then when it came to life, it was exciting.
Wow.
Good for you, man.
Awesome. So how often do you get to go out fishing?
I fish every Saturday.
Every Saturday. Good for you.
Yeah, I
Nice.
fish every Saturday. Me and my wife made an agreement years ago when I let her stay home. With my tournament schedule, Saturdays are pre-fish or tournament days, Sunday's family day, and other than if I have a championship, which is a 2-day event. Other than that, I would say 90% of the time my Saturdays are on the water.
Wow, that's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
It's probably a nice way to kind of just relieve stress and just kind of
Catch big bass.
catch big bass.
Yeah.
Do you guys fish?
I fish.
I would love to more, but I just don't have the time right now. And I know you're going to tell me you got to make the time for it, and I don't disagree with you.
Right. So I got to know real quick. What'd you catch it on? Popper?
Jig.
Jig.
Only jig.
Yeah, I love fish where I am. I go fishing up in New Hampshire. And I was just telling the guy the other day about bass fishing. I said, when the lily pads come up and they get a little bit thick, get a popper, jump it over there, and you're going to get mothers. You're going to get pickles and a lot of bass.
Really?
We have a lot of large bass in my lake. Big Island Pond, Atkinson, New Hampshire.
Hmm.
So good bass fishing up there. And brown trout, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, they stock it.
Huh.
So if you're a trout fisherman.
Is that tasty?
Trout?
Brown trout?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Well, you could. Rainbow.
Bass is good.
Bass is well.
Are you more of a catch release kind of guy or?
100% catch and release.
Yeah.
Except for her or him.
That's a replica.
Oh, it's a
Right.
replica. Okay, got it. Yep.
Yeah,
So that one did go back.
So down here, they anything that's 10 pound double digits is considered a trophy fish. So you take the length and the girth of it, you take multiple pictures, and you take it to them, and they've got molds, and then they paint it to try to match the pictures of the fish so it's as close as possible. That way
cool.
you don't have to harvest the fish, you just put it right back.
Oh, nice.
Good, man.
Nice. Good for you.
Good.
All right.
That fish is famous.
Yeah, the fish is famous. Yeah. It's on our show right now.
I'm telling you right now.
Jeez.
Yep. All right. So what are we doing here?
So, David.
Yeah.
How did you get into the plumbing business?
So that is a really good story. So the owner of this company, Bill McDaniel, started this company out of his garage, and him and my dad were going to church together, and they struck up a conversation that what I was doing at the time, I wasn't home very much. So he wanted to teach me a trade. And so when my dad introduced me to him, he just said, listen, why don't you let me teach you a trade? You'll always have a job, be able to take and support your family. I didn't know which end of a plunger to use.
Right.
And so I started off as his helper. He taught me the production side of the business, which, the guys, how to take care of the customers, how to train the guys and do all of that stuff. I started, his daughter, Courtney, was a freshman in high school, and he invested in us, taught us everything we needed to know to get going. As we continue to learn, I think it's you're constantly learning, and but that's how I got into it.
Yeah.
My dad and Bill were friends, and he took me under his wing, and 25 years later, here we are.
Wow. So does he still own it?
He still owns it. He's pretty much retired. We talk to him I talk to him just about every day, every week. But he lets us handle it, trust us with it, and
nice.
We'll take it from there.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow.
So are you a licensed plumber, or did you just kind of like learn the trade and didn't bother with the license?
So I'm one of the license holders for the company. In Texas,
wow.
You have to have a plumbing license in Texas. So I started off as an apprentice. I went through my apprentice, got my journeyman's, and got my. So in Texas, there's two masters. There's a master plumber, and now what they have, it's called an RMP, which is a responsible master plumber, and that has to be the license holder of the business for you to own and operate a plumbing company.
Okay, so not just some regular person off the street can own their own.
So he's
plumbing.
he's Gandalf.
He's Gandalf. Yeah.
He's got a big long stick, gold plumb.
Gandalf the Great, by the way.
Plunger. Sorry, what?
Gandalf the Great.
There you go.
So now you're on the operations side of things. How's that going for you?
Probably pretty horrible, I'm sure, with all the supplies that you can't get, right?
Oh,
and everything's gone off the roof.
That is such a challenge. And that creates its own issues. Like last year, let's just talk about water heaters. It's not uncommon for us to get, it's normal. We get one increase every year on water heaters, and we know it's coming. They talk to us about it, and what the markup's going to be. 5 increases on water heaters last year.
Wow.
And as every company does, you do everything you can not to pass those along.
Sure.
Those as minimal as possible. And we were able to offset that quite a bit by doing bulk buys. We had never done that before in plumbing. But the only way to lock in our pricing and availability of product, by the way, we had to buy massive quantities of water heaters, and that would lock us in. And then they would let us know, hey, there's another price increase coming on this date. And so we would do another buy, and we just kept a warehouse full of water heaters.
Yeah.
And so you're spending cash flow money, but you're also saving revenue dollars by not having to constantly raise your prices.
Right.
And we were very fortunate to be able to do that. A lot of people around us could not do that. So we pretty much learned how to handle that situation. Now you guys brought it up, it's shortages on supplies. And one day it's garbage disposals, the next thing it's insulation.
Right.
And who knows when it's going to stop.
Yeah, I mean, fixtures for us trying to get, especially bathtubs. It's like people are waiting like 6 months for a bathtub. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah. How are you guys doing on when you do that? How do you lock a customer in when by the time you order something and then the supplier wants to come back and say, hey, I've got that in, but it's 10%, 20% more than when you ordered it. Are y'all running into those kind of struggles?
So I've been able to, lock in pricing, at the time that I do the contract with the customer. Yep. So once I've gone to contract, what I used to do was, because we're like right now I'm booked until January of next year. So it would be very rare for me to order materials now for a January job, just because, where am I going to put it all? It becomes an issue on that. But I do enough buying that a lot of the lumber yards and supply houses will hold the product for me. So as soon as I go to contract, as soon as they give the deposit check, I place the order immediately, locked in at that price. And that's just the way we have to run business now.
Yeah, well, we don't do any new construction, but some of the people that we do business with, we talk to, they're putting clauses in the contracts on these builds because of price changes, increases they're getting that they can't foresee by the time they go to start the process.
Yeah,
so we've got a buffer in there.
Yeah, no, I had a customer who was looking to build a house, and they got a price from a builder, and then they went back a week later and they said, okay, we're ready. He's like, okay, it went up $15,000 since last week. And the next thing they knew, they were another week behind, and they're like, now we got priced out of building a house because we can't keep up with the cost of the. I stopped. We used to do additions. I stopped doing them. It was just too crazy, too hard to get subs there, too crazy with the pricing, always changing. I'm like, you know what? It's not for me. It's for the young guy.
I got a question. I was just thinking of this between you two guys right now. You're talking about trying to get supplies. Is there any way? It's almost like, remember we had the toilet paper shortage?
Oh yeah.
And everybody just went and tried to kill each other over Cottonelle?
Yep.
Is there any way that you can, as a plumber in the company, to just try to buy up 8 or 9 water heaters, which is usually what you guys may use? Or is it always the time that you get the customer who wants a certain water heater? Is there any way you can get ahead of that and just try to have them in supply in the warehouse?
Yeah. So we have an in-house supply house here. So,
beautiful.
I'm sure up there you guys have probably got Hajokas or Morrisons or Fergusons or whoever you deal with. And so we have a VMI here, which is a vendor managed inventory. So what we do is they keep we have a min-max, a certain amount of inventory that we require them to keep here. And so they'll let us know, hey, these are things that we have challenges getting in. Do you want to do a bulk buy? And so that's where we'll say, okay, yes. And because we don't have to, just like if you go to the supply house, we don't have to pay for anything until it goes across the counter. Mm-hmm. You have a sizable warehouse. So we have the ability to store additional inventory that maybe they can't, if they're going to hold just for us, that they can't keep at the distribution center or one of the locations. And so we'll say, load it up. And so we'll have trucks that come in so that they can pull that inventory because it's selected just for our location.
That's nice.
That's really good. Do you ever have a sit down with your suppliers and they're crying to you because of the raw materials that they can't get to build the freaking heaters or whatever you're trying to get? And because we know the price of copper is through the roof, it always changes every day. It's the worst. Yeah, I mean, it's just terrible. It's just
it's a crazy time.
What were you going to say?
It is steel,
Yeah.
Just like steel that for the water heater tanks that they're building, the cost of that, it's like watching the stock market go all up. And I mean, it never stops changing. The galvanized pans that they use, for your condensate pans, it's just never ending. And I get it. Everybody's in this thing to make some money. So part of the conversation goes around is there really a supply shortage?
Right.
Mm-hmm. How much is that's real? Or if I'm charging 30-40% more for a product than I've ever had than I had before, and people are still buying it, and I've got a waiting line around the block. Are they really trying to overcome that challenge? And that's a whole other conversation. But one
it is. Is it gouging? Is it really? Is it gouging or is it honesty?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I mean, that runs through our minds all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Case in point, I can't talk about it on the air, but I've got a feeling just on on a personal note, and somebody I was talking with, I can't. Somebody's making hand over fist, and it's basically it's all profit. It's not like we're trying to meet the supply and demand. No, they're making bank, and they don't need to make bank.
Mhm.
So I had a meeting, a conversation with one of the manufacturer reps, and there was a group of us, and we're like, look, COVID, you had to shut down and all the stuff. You're wide open.
Mhm.
Everybody's back. We've all figured the workaround with all of that.
Mhm.
What's the issue?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Answer.
Yeah.
And they're back fully staffed. If they're not fully staffed, is it by choice? Because
Right.
if they're not running at 100%, it's not because there's some kind of breakout or uptick in the stuff. So, and I get it. This is a whole nother conversation that we talked about, but we're all in the industry. So, are they choosing to run at under capacity so that they can't produce, and they can ethically, I guess, say that, hey, we can't get this product out because we're understaffed, and therefore we can only do, instead of running 3 shifts, we're running 1.5. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what's the truth behind it? I don't know.
Right. So let me just add on to this. Now, from what I've been watching and what I've been hearing, and it goes with you, and it goes with the big companies who are manufacturing stuff now. And we can go to Musk, we can go to Amazon, everything else. These people need workers. So what's their incentive? And I'm sure your incentive is the same thing. You have to bring in the workers, and you got to make them want to work, not just work, but they got to have benefits. They got to have their medical. They got to have a 401k, all these things that's going to give them some stability, and they're not going to leave. So you would figure if you're a multi-million-dollar manufacturing company with investors, they're going to sit down and going to go, you know what, we're going to make a package. So whoever walks through that door, they're never going to want to leave because they're going to be set financially with their family. They're going to have benefits or a pension or whatever they're going to do. So I truly believe now that is really, and what some of the customers, some of the people we've talked to, they're doing that. They're putting the incentive ahead for their workers. That other electrician we talked about, they sit down. They sit down with the workers and just make sure everything is good, everybody's stable, and there is stability as far as their income, especially in these trades. So it goes a little bit further. Like I just said, the manufacturing companies have to have that, or they're not going to have anybody in there. They can't do low income labor anymore. That does not exist. It won't. Right. So the 3 of us can say, as far as I'm concerned, there's more to this story. And it's another conversation we got to have.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So
yeah.
Absolutely. And so I don't know what's changed, but I've got 2 of you guys now. I've got one in a box and one up here. So I don't know.
Well, one of us is plenty, so I would click something out.
But which one?
There you go.
No.
I got rid of one.
There you go. Good. Yeah. You don't want to see 2 of us.
Yeah.
Depends. If you're in a
And
bar
one
fight,
thing
you
to
do.
get better, is this our new norm? Is this what how we try to run our businesses and take care of our customers? And what's the cost of a water heater going to be 2 years from now?
Right.
And I can tell you this, tankless water heaters, when I meet with the manufacturers and stuff like that, they're always asking the same thing. What do we got to do to capture more of the tank market? And if you talk to any contractor, they're going to tell you the same thing. Design a product that takes less labor to install it and get us at a cost that your price points will reach more customers than just a select few. Keep raising these prices on these heaters. They're going to drive everybody right towards tankless.
Yeah,
I have to say, you just knocked that right out of the park, because I've seen them and I'm like, oh my God, the mechanics that's involved in these things and all the copper that you're using it. And now to get one in, oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So the technology, I agree with you, needs to improve. Yeah. On your standpoint, with all how many employees do you have in your company?
So we're there's about 70 of us, including office staff.
Wow. So you have one big 70-person happy family?
So
Basically.
we have two sides to our company. We have Ben Franklin, which is the plumbing side.
Yep.
And we have on the AC side, we have Minuteman Heating and Air, which is independent. And so we have two locations. We have the admin office. It's where our call center's at. It's where all the office staff are at. Where I'm at is the production location, and that's where the warehouses are, the supply house. All of our training meetings are here. Field management offices are down here. And so we keep those separated. We're in the process of trying to acquire a place to build a bigger location to get everybody back under one roof.
Oh, nice.
So that's the future plan.
Gotcha.
Mr. Crow, you don't sleep at night. You don't sleep at night. There's no way.
He sleeps really good Saturday night.
Yeah.
After catching some bass. Yeah.
No, he's on that boat, and there's nothing else that matters right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
So did you see it?
It still amazes me. You know, everybody here, we've got a team. We don't, a large portion of our team has been with us for quite a while. They all know what I do when I'm not at work. They all know weekends. And I've done a body of water. Now in tournaments, I have to have my phone off. Be on the water and my phone will ring. And like, everybody knows where I'm at. Who in the world would call me? And sure enough, it would be a plumber. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. And yeah, because from where we're located, I live literally right 2 minutes from here. And so any other time, it's not uncommon for somebody to need something. I'll run up and let somebody in if one of the managers isn't available. So I could be 2 to 4 hours away from the shop and somebody like, hey, I can't get a hold of anybody. Can you let me in? It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, you're kind of on your own.
Were you affected a couple of years ago when Texas had that deep freeze and everything burst and popped? Were you a part of that chaos?
We were in the dead center of it, and it was we did like $300,000 above our normal budgeted number for that month. It was insane. We had, I can't even tell you the list of people that we had, like every other plumbing company, on a waiting list. It was overwhelming. We had people literally working around the clock. We had friends with different bins outside of the states offering to send employees down here to help out. It was a once in a lifetime experience. It was insane.
Was it that bad like it was on the news when we saw it?
It was that bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't play that one up. It was literally that overwhelming.
I do a lot of painting, and I work with Sherwin Williams on a lot of painting and stuff. They had a really great ceiling paint called Master Hide, and the factory was in Texas, and it failed. I mean, they lost everything in that factory. So I think they're still trying to rebuild it from the ground up again to get that product back out, because it was just like it was such a hard hit for us painters because everybody loved that quality of paint and that material, and you couldn't get it anymore, and everybody was scrambling to try to make it work. But
yeah, do you feel like it's come back strong since then, or is it still in the recovery?
No, I think it's come back since then. I think what you had for, I'd probably say a good 6 to 8 months afterwards. I think any of these older homes with copper plumbing in them, when those things, even if they didn't freeze and burst, if they made it through when everything started thawing out, we seen water lines popping and busting weeks and weeks and up to a few months afterwards. They were just so weakened by the stress of that freeze, created residual work, reoccurring work for us. Going back to homes that we'd already fixed everything when they thawed out, they thought they were done, and ended up having to repipe houses because they just kept popping.
Wow. And I know what it's like dealing with insurance companies, so I'm sure that was a lot of fun there.
We had, our shop, I wish I still had a picture of it. We had a mound, literally a mound of tankless water heaters. If you had a tankless water heater in this area that was on an outside wall, it froze and busted.
Sure.
And I mean, the demand calls just to get to those, and they were all swap outs. I mean, if they were on outside wall, a lot of attics. So much damage was done when things started thawing out, and just
Sure.
damage that occurred. And we had a mound out there. Gosh, I couldn't even describe to you how large it was of just the units that we pulled out. And then after things started getting back to normal, insurance companies calling, wanting the tankless water heater because they wanted to look at it. I'm like,
jeez.
Are you out of your mind? Oh yeah, it's a big scam.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what I find too, as a worker going to someone's house, and I know you know this too. How many homeowners don't know where the water shutoff is on their house? Their main water shutoff. And they just let it run and run and run.
Yeah, they have no idea where it is.
And cry and don't know what to do. Which is so essential.
We got so many of those phone calls trying to help people out. It's amazing. And it's one of the tools, we implemented on our home inspection. We go back in. It's one of the 3 questions, do you know where your customer shutoff is? In case you had a flood. When is the last time you had your water heater serviced? And do you have any slower dripping faucets?
Hopefully that'll come back in a second.
Come back, please.
Can you hear us?
Please come back, Mr. Crow. Mr. Crow.
He got frozen.
Mr. Crow, don't leave us, Mr. Crow.
Just like Texas 2 years ago.
No,
he's
frozen. Just frozen. Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. I don't think he's coming back.
Mr. Crow, please come back. No.
Okay.
You going? Call the boss?
Yep.
We're going to call the boss right now, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't think anybody hears us.
Why?
Oh, actually, it does. It's still recording. So
yeah. So we can keep this.
We can
the
keep.
House just.
Oh,
there it
goes.
Hey!
Never mind.
We lost you for a second. All right. We lost you.
Yeah.
I forgot what was the last thing he said. We got panicked because you froze. Now
yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about
the shutoffs. Yeah, the shutoffs.
Yeah, the shutoffs. Right. Yeah. So one question for you too. Did you see an uptick in bidets after the whole toilet paper shortage? He's frozen again.
No, that's the most important question of the show. How do you wash your ass?
There he's back again. All right, you froze again. Yeah. So did you see an uptick in the bidets or no?
No, not really.
No, interesting.
Because you can buy them now online. You can attach them to yourself.
Yeah, but you have to have an outlet there. So you got to get an electrician in there to put the outlet in. GFCI, because you got water and electrical a little too close, in my opinion.
I thought it was water. Just water? No?
No, it's electrical. Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we actually saw
shocking.
I actually saw an uptick up here for it. A lot of people switched over or wanted any bathroom remodels. They're having them done. Yeah.
Do you, because you mainly do remodels, right?
I do, yes.
Do you ever get a request? So we get it on the service side where people want us to come in. We call it, what they want you to do is they want you to take a vegetable sprayer, to put a T on in like a dual outlet stop coming out of the wall, and then they just hang it on the side of the toilet, and they use a vegetable sprayer instead of just actually purchasing a bidet.
Yeah, they used them in Europe when I was.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen one.
Kitchen sink is full. You can always do your dishes in the toilet. They had them. They had them in Thailand. Hey, give me those pots. I got it. I got this. No, they had those in Thailand and Vietnam. They had
really.
Those. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing. Washing my armpits on the toilet. I had no idea.
All right. So, David, you one of the reasons why you came on the show was to talk about plumbing upgrades that make your home more eco-friendly and improve quality of water. Jesus. What do you mean by that?
So, we get a lot of people that want to go greener, things that they can do in their homes that's not so wasteful. One of the things we recommend, and when customers move into a house, one of the things that we get calls about is it takes forever to get hot water to the back part of the house. And so what they're doing is they'll turn fixtures and faucets on and let those things run. It'll take several minutes to get that. And so they're concerned about how much water is being wasted to go down, that they're just wasting. So we'll recommend and install circulating pumps. A lot of times when you remodel a house or build a house, you can put a true loop in there so they have a true circulating system. But for an existing home, what you can do is there's a Grundfos makes one. It's a Comfort Series that you simply can put on the outlet side of your heater, and then there's a T that you put in that part of the house that's taking the longest amount of time to get hot water to, and it pulls water from the tank to that fixture. And there's actually a solenoid that's in there, and once the temperature gets below 100 degrees, the valve opens and pulls water from the tank to there. And so it will literally cut the amount of time to get water from the water heater back to that bathroom. Let's say they're waiting 3 to 4 minutes, it'll cut it down to less than a minute.
Wow, that's awesome.
And
It's a lot of water.
Yeah,
it's a lot of water that they're saving, because people are they're like, if they don't ask, they're just turning fixtures on. So that's one of the questions that we ask when we go out. How long does it take you to get hot water to the farthest fixture? And you'll almost always get a customer tell you, oh, it's horrible. The amount of water that we waste going down a drain before we can actually get water back here. Well, if we had a solution for you for something like that and it would help save water, would you be interested?
So it's a circulating pump, is what you said? Okay.
Yep. It's a circulating pump that mounts to existing water heater, and it's got a T. It's about the size of a pin that goes up underneath the lavatory.
Huh. So
Now,
you run it throughout the rest of the house too, like at different locations, or just the farthest one?
You can do it up to 3 locations.
Okay.
So all you have to do is install the T.
Yep.
And so you put one typically at the farthest fixture, and then the two most common places that we install them are at the farthest fixture, the farthest bathroom from the water heater, and the kitchen sink.
Okay. That's my downfall is the kitchen sink. Oh my God. I don't know why it takes so long to heat that up. Oh, drives me crazy.
And if it's a kitchen sink, you would just simply install the circ pump on the water heater, put the T underneath your kitchen sink. Of course, you already know the other thing you can do there is you can put a point of use heater right up underneath the kitchen sink.
Right. Yeah, that would be much better. Because I turn the damn thing on and walk away.
Yeah.
I don't even know how much water I waste. But
My shower is ridiculous.
Really?
Oh,
see, that's not bad for me.
Floor, way up in the air. I'm like,
see, I would think that would be like, for me too, that would be the worst. Like the shower on the second floor, the master. But no, that one gets hotter quicker than the kitchen. I have no idea why.
Well, it's further away from the furnace.
I think if I ever open up the walls or something, I think I'd see big loops, and it must just go loop in,
right,
until it finally gets up there.
Wow.
They didn't get there the quickest way, that's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. So
all
right.
That's one. Some of the other stuff that we can recommend for a customer, tankless water heaters on gas. And the reason that I would recommend or tell someone that's a green product, we all know that a tank heater on a gas tank heater, it's got a burner assembly on the bottom. It's basically like taking a pot, putting it on the stove, and it's got a flame that goes through it. It's a very inefficient way to heat water. The other thing is that thing is trying to be a good water heater so that when you want hot water, it's always ready. So as that thermostat inside the heater realizes that it's cooling down, that flame's kicking up. So it's heating up water all day long, which is, not that gas is super expensive, but you're heating up water all day long, only for you to use it when you want it. So when you put a tankless water heater in, it's on demand. It doesn't heat anything up until you turn a fixture on. So that's one of the things that we recommend. Electric's the same way on electric tankless water heaters that we install. Some of the other things that we recommend to customers is that we don't do a lot of these anymore, especially since the trend is going more tankless. But you can put a timer on your water heater, gas or electric, just like you have on your sprinkler system.
Yes.
So you can set that thing on when it's going to kick on and start heating water off, so that the prime time in the morning, everybody's getting up and they're taking their showers, getting ready to head out for the day. Well, that thing doesn't need to be heating water up all day.
Right.
And also set it to come back on in the afternoon just before everybody gets home. So Near as many of those as we used to years ago, but that's another green option for a customer. Another things that we talk to customers about is just fixing leaking and running faucets. If you got a faucet that has got a drip on it, there's numbers that support that depending on how much the faucet. You're wasting hundreds of thousands of gallons of water a month, a year. Running toilets, just stuff like that. These are things that that we try to educate customers on and make them aware. These are all things that are just wasteful, and if they just take a little bit of initiative and get those corrected themselves, or have a professional come out and take care of, that we stress to our customers on a day-to-day basis.
How do you feel? How do you feel about hybrid hot water heaters? Hybrid heaters. I'm sorry.
It's on my list. I had a hybrid heater at my house for about 11 years.
Wow.
I got them. I'm a good boy. And it's on. It could be. And it's really great. I bought one. I have one up in New Hampshire.
Oh, really?
When we bought the house.
Yeah.
There's one thing that this guy did is he bought a hybrid hot water heater,
mm-hmm.
and it's great because it feeds off the humidity out of my basement, which heats up
really?
the water. Oh yeah, it's a cool thing.
Wow.
So and you can set it at different modes.
Yeah.
Like you can, if you need hot water right away or whatever, there's a button you can hit, or it's on your phone. The app is on your phone.
Jeez.
You can change it around, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just like if you're going away, you can put it on vacation.
Mm.
It can't cook your dinner. That's unfortunate.
No.
Or balance your checkbook. That's one thing I'm pissed about.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Right. And make up excuses why I'm not home. That's the biggest one. But other than that, it works really good. But yeah.
Nice.
It works really good. I love the idea that it takes it's like a humidifier. It makes the energy out of the moisture in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool, dude. Oh yeah.
So what did you replace yours with, David?
So when my hybrid heater went out, they had another model that they wanted us to try.
Which one?
Green. It was a smart water heater.
Yeah.
And so it's got a rope around it. It's got a sensor. It's got a built-in leak detector on it. So the app that comes on your phone, let's say that something on the tank or a fitting or something started leaking, and notify you, that your unit needs to be serviced because of whatever it was. And so I've got that in the house. It's got a lot of cool features, different settings on it as well. So they wanted me to try it out before we started introducing it to our customers, and so we put one in the house. The hybrid was about 11 years old. Was phenomenal. Did great. Everything he's talking about, the settings on it, the green setting that's on there is the most energy efficient way to run it. But if you've got extra people at the house and you need the recovery time to be quicker, you can set that to a different setting. So your recovery time on the tank's faster, but you end up using the heat pump that's on the top and the elements. Hybrids are an underutilized something that we don't offer our customers. A lot of people are uneducated, don't know much about them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when you get into the hybrid, the cost of the hybrid, you're right up there with the tankless. And so they're like, well, before I go this way, do you offer electric tankless? Well, we do. And so, but how long have you had yours?
I've had mine now for 3 years, and there was an incentive to get it. So basically, you get a rebate, and I got it through Home Depot. I would prefer I've got it through another supply company, because that's another thing we can talk about too. But I'm sure we're running out of time. Buying stuff from
we'll bring David back.
We got to bring him back. Because I know how plumbers feel and plumbers supply stores feel about, and you can tell by the sinks. You buy a faucet from Home Depot or Lowe's, and you buy one from the supply store, and one outweighs the other because it's made with not plastic, one's made of metal,
got brass
and copper, and the other one's plastic.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who has a sink faucet thing, and it's dripping. And I go, this is like crap. You can't. You got to replace the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's not mowing or it's gone. It's crap.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had it for, I have to say, 3 years. Very, 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 very happy. And the house that I just moved into has one, and I'm extremely happy with that too. Keeps your energy bill down.
Huh.
Yes.
You also know that with the heat pump on there, it also allows you to. So if you have the 50-gallon version, the recovery time on it makes it equivalent to a 65.
I did not know that.
Yep.
All right. I got David. I got old house built in 1783, something like that.
Oh my
And
word.
yeah.
How often does the tour come through your house?
Well, anyone who stops by definitely can we take a look around? I'm like, yeah, come on by.
Sure, why not?
And it's a pretty amazing household, and I'm just like, I am still amazed because how electricians try to weave conduit through the planking walls and everything else, and the beams that they had to drill through, and then I had to drill through for electrical work and stuff. It's just like, it's amazing how big and thick and everything is just, axe forged, and it's amazing, and everything's pegged, mortise tenon. It's gorgeous. It's really awesome.
In today's world with PEX tubing, I'm sure
makes
it a lot easier to get around those places too. So,
plumbing question, PEX tubing, because my buddy yelled, oh my God, like he was like the foreman of the plumbing job.
Really?
He was screaming at me. He goes, why do you have an elbow in that PEX? Why? Bend it. Just bend it. Put it in there. He was just like telling me to bend it. Do you do a lot of elbows in your PEX, or do you just bend it around the corner?
So
it depends.
It just depends because we have when the reps come in and do trainings and stuff like that, they go over how much you can actually bend it before you need a fitting to be installed.
Okay.
We do a lot of repipes, and so you got to realize when we do a repipe, we're basically bringing in a brand new main line up in the attic, and we're making all of our drops. So a lot of those, we're just curving those things down and dropping them down the walls and feeding them. And then if we're going to go, once we start going to feed the fixtures, we'll run the elbows at that time. Everything just comes right back out. So it really just depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I just to appease my buddy, I said, okay, look, we got rid of the elbows. You happy? That's better. I says, well, if I pop them, you're coming over and fixing them.
That's right.
They're not extreme. They're not extreme. They're like a normal bend. It's like a freeway bend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh my God, the thing's gonna kink when you make that corner. It's not one of those. So
they're plenty. They're more than can handle a bend like that.
Yeah,
it's well within the abilities of that pipe and that material to be bent like you're describing.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that stuff's gone up through the roof too, hasn't it? The PEX?
The PEX has gone up, but it's the insulation. Yeah, it's the insulation. So we insulate all the pipes. Obviously, for code, anything on an outside wall, all the attics are insulated. Mm-hmm. But the insulations went through the roof. They know we gotta have it.
Mm-hmm. That used to be pennies on the dollar.
Pennies.
It was just like the cheapest thing to get. Oh my God, you take it. Oh, I just cut this out, just throw it out. Now it's gold, liquid gold. Mm-hmm. Save that. Save that 2 inches.
You save everything now.
I save
right
everything.
Right.
Everything.
If you can reuse it, it's going to save you a ton of money.
Dave, my father was a survivor of the Great Depression, and he used a napkin 3 times. He did. He was one of those guys. But in the basement, when we were up at the cottage, he put a 2x4 together with another 2x4 and another 2x4, and he unbent the nails, and I'm like, Dad, I'm right behind you, Dad. I'm right behind you. Unbelievable. It's crazy. You're recycling. You have a big recycling bin that you guys do on the copper and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
That pays for a couple of fishing trips.
Pays for fishing trips. One of the things that we do here for our culture is the managers cook for the employees Friday of every month.
Nice.
And so we buy lunches with that. We shut down the company a couple times a year. We have outings. Do y'all have Top Golf up there?
What?
Top Golf. Is that the simulated?
Top Golf is it's a driving range. It's 3 stories high.
No, we don't have that.
Yeah, and so there's a big, huge net at the very back, and they've got all these spots all the way back there. And if you land in it, you play games with it. We shut it down. The kids come play. We
nice
have a buffet, and so we use a lot of that for that. We have door prizes all the time in our meetings that we give out. We recoup all that kind of stuff and do a lot of good, cool stuff with it.
Nice. Good for you.
That's a good idea. So
That's
I
a great
think
idea.
what Colin's going to do with his employees, we're just going to go on the roof and we're just going to figure whack them into off of Main Street. See how many windows we can take out.
Bam.
That's a good one, right? Oh,
Well, David, I will tell you, I do take the guys out every year. We go for a fishing trip.
we go saltwater fishing.
Yeah, we go saltwater fishing. So we go from striped bass, and we end up getting a lot of bluefish, which we don't want.
Well, Dave, if you ever come to the East Coast, you can come up here. We'll go, and you come during the summer. We'll take you out there, get you some stripers. Go for stripers, dude. You will have forearms like Schwarzenegger, dude. You're just like you'll be so tired because they're big. We could bring them some big fish. Good fighting stuff. Just what you like.
I love any kind of fishing. I love the fight.
Yeah.
He loves the fight.
But I tell you, I would keep your fish and eat it.
Right.
So,
we can keep all those.
okay, good. All right.
Yeah, we keep. I love eating fish.
Mm-hmm.
When I go fishing, bass fishing is the only thing I do. So I don't go striper fishing, crappie. Yeah. I don't do any of those things. If I did, or if we went, I'm all up. So the few times that I've been fortunate to go on a deep sea fishing trip, we fillet everything, we eat the snot, all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm good with eating them. It's just the type of fishing I do. They all go back.
They all go back. I get you.
I think really honestly, Dave, it's just being on a boat and the phone.
It's just having fun.
Just do me a favor, buddy.
Yeah.
Just do me a favor. Don't hook your thumb and shut your phone off.
Yeah.
Right?
You got it.
Well, David, it was really nice having you on the show. We really appreciate you
Thank
taking
you
the
so
time.
much,
I know
bud.
you're busy. Again, David Crow, he is the VP of the Arlington Benjamin Franklin in Texas. Good old Texas.
Yeah.
There it goes.
How was that? Pretty good, huh? There you go.
The horns. Here we go.
Bang, bang.
Well, David, thanks again for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Hope you'll come back sometime. Maybe we can talk about the whole supply issue again. And
on a better note.
Yeah. Maybe we can have a good positive talk about it. And how it's all cleared up.
Anytime, guys. I really enjoyed it. And I'd love to come back and talk to you guys again.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave.
And everybody, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.